Hello, 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 hello. It is morning. I didn't sleep well last night. I was awake most of the night and I came up with a crazy idea. And I love sharing my crazy ideas with you. Hi, this is Linda G. Robert, your back in the groove again coach. And some of you may know that I'm offering an Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp. But what you may not know is that a lot of us could use a boot camp for, are you ready? For decluttering. For decluttering. How did I get this crazy idea? I was with some coaches yesterday. We're all coaches. We all specialize in different coaching areas. And one of the things that came up on their to do list was decluttering. Whether you are looking for a job, hello, whether you're looking for a job or wanting to lose weight, whatever your goal is, if you have a house full of clutter or you are preoccupied by something, you won't be able to move towards your goal. So I've decided that the focus, thanks, Charlotte. Good morning. I don't know if it's morning where you are or not, but thanks. True. It's so true that clutter prevents us from moving on, moving forward. And it doesn't really matter how much of a clutter or how little of a clutter. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I really got to get rid of this stuff. Thank you. I really got to get rid of this stuff. And that's what's holding you back from finding your ideal job or losing weight or whatever the heck it is. Then you can use the 30-day boot camp, the Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp to declutter. I think it's a great idea, and it starts on November 23rd. And I'm just going to send you the link, and I'm going to tell you what else we're going to do today. I don't want this to. I don't want to make it all about the Ignite Your Groove. I also have a few weeks ago I pulled some cards, and I'm not a medium and I'm not a card puller, but I do believe in pulling cards once in a while. So I have my decks, and this time I don't have the background, so I can show you the cards. So this one here is the first deck that I'm going to be pulling a card from. This is what the cards look like, and I'm going to be thinking of everyone who wants to declutter or needs to declutter and they're not aware of it, because a lot of us might not be aware that the clutter that we have either in the basement or in our closet or in a kitchen or wherever it is, some of us may not know that it's preventing us from living our perfect life or our ideal lives or even loving our lives even more. So this first card, because I have three decks, this first card is going to be for you. All right. And I'm just going to center myself and think of those that want to declutter, need to declutter. What type of inspiration do they need? I'm just showing you my cards here. All right. This is the card that I pulled. I'm going to show you this card. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Movement, choices, decisions. All right, let me get my book. I'm just reading from the book. Okay, so I'm just going to read from this. And it's an interesting choice of card, isn't it? I didn't choose the card. I mean, I just kind of picked it. So this card, I hope you can hear me fine. Can you hear me okay? Can you give me a thumbs up or yes, I can hear you or something? I'm just going to make sure that you can hear me. This card indicates a time of movement. Significant changes and choices must be made. With hard work, great effort, and determination, you have the ability to juggle all the demands that are in front of you, whether they concern money, business decisions, or other projects. And isn't it interesting how clutter sometimes prevents us from attracting money, from making decisions or other projects? Those are my words. Okay. Thank you, Alexandria. Thank you. Um, you don't have to do it alone. Reach out for the best advice and assistance. In addition, a financial union or a partnership may present itself to you. The more time you take to make these vital decisions and choices, the longer it will be before you can move towards your goals in the physical material world. The changes that are emerging aren't some random acts of coincidence. They're all part of a positive and a larger scheme. Notice the connections with everything, as this will enable you to avoid future problems and conflicts. Really interesting card. This was the first card that I pulled. Whoops. Called Movement, Choices, and Decisions. And what I was contemplating on was because um, I'm talking about on one hand, my Ignite Your Groove 30-day bootcamp and how it would be perfect for people who want to declutter. And that's what I was thinking about when I pulled the card from this deck. The next deck of cards that I'm going to use is this one here. It's called the Purpose Life Purpose Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And I have the cards right here. And again, I'm putting my attention more on the people who need need to declutter and maybe don't know it. People who know they need to declutter, or people who want to declutter. So this is these cards that I'm pulling for you, and out of the life purpose. And we'll see what comes up. Just a moment here. Okay, I just got a card, so I'm going to take that one. Okay, and it says children. This is a children card. Okay, your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. And by the way, if any of these cards ring true to you, please add a comment in the chat box. I'd love to hear more about it. So I'm going to read from this book, Children. And remember, we're talking about decluttering, but there can be a relationship between children, the life purpose involving children, teaching, and healing children. So interesting. So, all right, children. All right, I'm going to read here. Oops, there you go. All right. Your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. You have an affinity for young people, which is why you drew this card. Helping children is an important and much needed function. Since the world's youth need understanding adults, kids naturally trust you and look to you for leadership. Consider devoting your time and talents to helping them keep their minds and hearts open to love. In this way, you contribute to developing a world of sensitive and caring future leaders. Your life purpose can follow many avenues, including raising your own children or spending time with those of a close friend or relative. Ask Archangel Metatron, the angel of sensitive young people, to guide your actions so that they're best suited to your abilities and help children most effectively. Any of your natural interests, such as writing, art, music, animals, sports, and so forth can be a way to help heal and support children. If you need additional training or ideas, the angels will guide you. Interesting card. We're talking about decluttering. So, if you are wanting to work with children or thought of working with children or even have children, I'm curious, what do you think is the relationship between this card and the clutter, whether it's emotional clutter, physical clutter, spiritual clutter, digital clutter? What's the relationship between children and clutter? If this speaks to you, let me know. I'd love to hear more about it. I'd love to hear more about it. So that was from the Life Purpose deck by Doreen Virtue. And I have one more. So I pulled out a couple of cards so far, the Life Purpose card and the Movement Choices and Decisions card. You'll have to watch the replay. I have one more card that I want to pull, but I'm curious if you've been here since the beginning. You've heard me talk about the movement card, and you've heard me talk about children card. Do any of these cards speak to you? Especially if you know that you're holding on to declutter. What could be the relationship between the clutter that you're holding on to and these two cards? Be fun to hear from you. I have one more card that I want to read. And I mentioned earlier in my introduction, in my when I first got on, that I didn't sleep a lot last night. I was awake at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, kind of a crazy day. Um, but then early this morning, I started thinking of the conversations that we had in the coaching group that I had yesterday. I'm just going to share this. I'm going to just going to finish my thought here, Charlotte. So a lot of the coaches want to declutter, and it seems like decluttering is something that a lot of us want to do. So I'm just going to share. Thank you. So the movement card spoke to you, Charlotte. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And while you're doing that, I'm going to read it again. All right. I'm going to read that again. So I am reading the movement for those of you that didn't hear. I'm just going to read it quickly now. This card indicates a time of movement. Significant changes and choices must be made. With hard work, great effort, and determination, you have the ability to juggle all the demands that are in front of you, whether they concern money, business decisions, or other projects. It's important to stay flexible and focused. You don't have to do it alone. Reach out for the best advice and assistance. In addition, a financial union or partnership may present itself to you. The more time you take to make these vital decisions and choices, the longer it will be before you can move towards your goals in the physical, material world. The changes that are emerging aren't some random acts or coincidences. They're all part of a positive and larger scheme. Notice the connections with everything, as this will enable you to avoid future problems and conflicts. And of course, I'm talking mostly about decluttering today, tying in my Ignite Your Groove 30-day challenge, which is going to start on November 23rd. So, okay, interesting. Thank you. I just find it cluttered with sudden changes. Thank you for sharing this, Charlotte. So it's so interesting how clutter, are you talking mostly about emotional clutter? It sounds like you are. I'm not so sure, but maybe not, because sometimes, I'm just going to give you some examples. Sometimes when we need to move, physically move places suddenly, all of a sudden there's a lot of boxes, a lot of clutter, or maybe somebody passed recently and you're having to clean up the person's house. And then all of a sudden It's not just maybe physical clutter, but also emotional clutter you're having to deal with. Um, Interesting you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. No, it wasn't a couple of weeks ago. It was last Monday, I think it was, that I had to suddenly drive to my hometown where my father is. I got a call from his nurse saying that she had to call the ambulance because when she found my dad, he wasn't breathing and was coughing like crazy. So she had to call the ambulance. And I made a decision to drive down. Now, it took me 7 hours, crazy drive, but it was a long drive and in the snow with no winter tires. So, long story short, 7 hours of emotional clutter uh, because all I kept thinking about was his passing and what I would have had to do, because of course he's a lot better now, thank goodness. Sure, no problem, Charlotte. No problem. So I was thinking along the way, along the 7 hours, everything that I'd had to deal with. So my mind was full of stuff. It was terrible what I was preoccupied with. All right, so we are talking about decluttering today. And, I'm tying in my Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp because some of us can use the Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp. I've added the link in the chat box and I'll add it again. That's for a special price. The last card is the Life Loves You card. Louise Hay, Robert Holden. I love this deck too. And again, this is for everyone who has clutter in their life, whether it's emotional clutter, physical clutter, whether you know it or not, and it's preventing you from doing something. Oftentimes, that's what's getting you stuck. And you may not always be able to put a finger on it. And it doesn't have to be a large amount of clutter. And clutter, I just want to add that clutter isn't always something that is yours. Clutter can also be something that belongs to somebody else or was purchased by somebody else. And I'll give you an example. Now, I don't think I've shared this with you. I don't know. I've done so many lives lately and videos that I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been married 3 times. Don't freak out, please. I got married in my early 20s. I was 21. He passed. And then I got married at 23 or 24, and that was a divorce. And then I got married again in my mid 30s. And I'm not in my 40s or 50s, I'm 62. So a long time ago, a long time ago. But a long time ago, after my marriages, I still I should say, stuff or pictures or memories. Whether they were good memories or bad memories, it doesn't matter. I don't want to put any emphasis on positive or negative here. They were just memories, physical objects that were, in a sense, cluttering me and preventing me from moving forward. Now, I wrote an article about it a long time ago, and I guess the gist of this article was that, and I'm trying to remember. I don't have it handy. It's been a long time. I wrote this in might have been '05 or '06. You know how sometimes our closet, and I use the real image of a closet having every piece of clothing in there that we've ever owned. And some people, I know some people that have clothes in their closet, they've had it forever. Even baby clothes, and they're in their 60s, okay? And I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty or anything, but what I'm saying is that some of us do hold on to things for a long time. So I wrote an article about this closet figuratively, that was in my house, and how I slowly started to remove objects from this closet. And all of a sudden, I was able to see a little bit of a light. There was actually, and I wrote this in the article, there was actually a little bit of light coming through between the clothes. When your clothes, and this could be true too, when your clothes is so jammed packed, you can't even move the hangers anymore. It's really that bad. So it's the same thing with your emotional clutter, or physical clutter in this case. How, you know, when we start decluttering our emotions as well as our physical clutter, we start feeling lighter. We start seeing a little bit more light, and eventually we actually start seeing more and more light, where if we were to use that metaphor again, the clothes in your closet metaphor, you might actually start seeing the colors of your clothes that's in the closet. So decluttering is so important, whether it's emotional or physical or spiritual and so on. So important. All right, I'm going to be pulling this last card from the Life Loves You deck. And this is it's a positive affirmation for those of you that truly, truly want to declutter. Maybe those of you that don't know you need to declutter. This message is still for you. It's for everybody out there who is holding on to something, whether it's yours or not, right? When you finally get rid of your ex's stuff, that's what I'm talking about. And I did years ago. All right. So I'm just spreading them out. All right. All right. All these cards are always perfect, aren't they? So this card is, and I'm going to show you the front page, the front of side of it. I open my mind and say yes to life. And the back of it, and I'll show it to you in a second, it says, life is inviting you to experience a whole new level of happiness, healing, prosperity, success, and love. Life is inviting you to experience a whole new level of happiness, healing, prosperity, success, and love. And how that works out well with our decluttering talk today, I don't know how else it can get any better than that. Once, and this is so true, it's so true that, it took me a while just to go back to my ex's stuff. It took me a while to get rid of, some of the things. And to be honest, it's been so long ago that I can't even give you an example of a particular object that I got rid of, because I got rid of all sorts of stuff many, many years ago. And I did it again many, many, many years ago after that, too. In fact, when I moved to Ottawa in 2007, I had already been divorced quite a few years, and I had already downsized by then, and I was now living in a small apartment. And when I moved to Ottawa, I wasn't moving to my own apartment. I was moving in with a girlfriend. This was in '07, so I had to get rid of a lot of stuff again. So when I got to Ottawa, I had clothes, I had some objects that I want to keep. May I share this on the video, Charlotte? I did that, and it was really, I have to say, it was harder the first time that I ever did that. This last time in '07, my son, I'm in a small apartment where I lived. My son was with me, and he says, "You won't be needing that." We were talking about a winter clothes, a winter jacket, and okay, I love that winter jacket, but it was my ex that gave it to me. Come to think of it, okay, great. I will share that. Thank you. So Charlotte says, "Wow, that is like what I've been through the last few months. Just need your help to gather and compose my thoughts with you. No problem." Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. So my son was with me and says, "You won't need your winter jacket," because I was moving in June. So I got rid of the winter jacket. Now I love the winter jacket. It was one of those jackets that went below my knees, but it was one of those long winter jackets or coats, I should say, that the ex had bought me. And I thought, okay, you're right. I don't really need this winter jacket. And that winter jacket did have some really good memories, and it was a good winter jacket. And I got rid of it. And did I regret it? Well, kind of, because I didn't really have another long jacket like that. I ended up by getting other jackets. And it's so interesting that um and I am going to keep sharing this just for a few more minutes. When I moved into my girlfriend's apartment, shared with her the apartment, it didn't work out. And then I had to move into somebody's house, in a bedroom of somebody's house. Again, no furniture, no nothing, right? Didn't need furniture because I was living in somebody's house, until she asked me to leave because we weren't a really good fit. And then I thought, okay, I guess I better get out of here. This is really so long ago. It was in '07, no, '08. No, at the end of '07 is when I moved to this bedroom into a house. And she asked me to leave. I think it was in February '08. So I ended up by finding a place in on the Gatineau side. I'm in the Ottawa area, and just on the other side of Ottawa is Gatineau. So I ended up by finding an apartment there. But it was an empty apartment because I didn't have any furniture. But you know how things happen, right? I mean, friends are there, and all you have to do is say, I just moved into an apartment and it's empty. So I ended up by having a lot of things given to me: the couch, my bedroom set. Now, that wasn't given to me, but I bought it for a really cheap price and I still have it. Suffice to say that, sometimes it's hard to get rid of stuff, especially if you're in transition or having to leave. And once you get rid of it, then it's like, oh my God, it's so freeing. And then you might have to get a few other things too. Actually, I know a friend of mine who's recently, good morning. I'm surprised you're up. Ha ha ha. Nice to see you. I was just, I'm gonna give, and I'm almost finished here. Finishing up with a friend of mine just recently got rid of her bed and breakfast. Kathy, if you're listening to this video, um, or live here, she got rid of a lot of stuff. And I think this is the weekend that she's actually moving from her friend's house to her own beautiful apartment. So that's great. This is great. So we were talking about, and I'm just going to summarize here because I ended up by talking a little bit more than what I was planning. As always, I always do that, but whatever, it's okay. Um, I started talking about how I couldn't sleep that last night, and how this morning I started thinking of the coaches um, that I met with on Thursday. No, this was Friday. How they're saying that they want to declutter, and I thought, well, I've got a Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp that's starting November 23rd. So why not use that for decluttering? So some of you that may want to use that 30-day boot camp to declutter, it's perfect. And then I thought at the same time that I'm going to pull cards, and that's what I did. So you might have to uh, watch the replay. And if you're watching the replay, please just write #replay. And if you have any questions at all um, about the Ignite Your Groove 30-day boot camp, I added the link. I'm going to add it again here. I'm um, I'm letting it go at a really, really good price. And right now it's more like a pilot project because I've got a lot of great pre-recorded webinars on there. I have, for example, webinars on motivation, on procrastination, on visioning and goal setting. A lot of different webinars that are pre-recorded that you can watch when you want to. But the bonus really is the weekly meetings. So we're going to be meeting Fridays at noon. And that's mostly to provide the support that you need. And if you're choosing to declutter during the 30 days, that's great. Then we'll talk about how you're doing. You'll be having to set some goals. I've got some great resources out there for you. A monthly calendar that you can use to plan, a weekly calendar as well, some positive affirmations, a list of what not to do, as well as a list of what to do during the day. So it's a great boot camp. It's ready to go. And I'm also going to be, and now I haven't done this yet, but I plan on also creating a private Facebook group for those that will be participating in the boot camp. And then you'll be able to continue getting support in that boot camp as in the private group as well. So that's all I want to say on that. Thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Charlotte and Nick. I hope that you're doing a lot better. I hope so. I've read that the medication has been working, so I hope that you're starting to feel better, and I hope that you get more more help as well. All right, you guys, happy Saturday. It's still morning here, and I actually this morning I started thinking of objects. Now, I'm not doing a major decluttering right now, but there are a couple of things that I'm going to be getting rid of. I'm going to be getting rid of a cappuccino machine that I don't need that was given to me. I'm getting rid of it, and I'm going to be bringing it over to the I forget the thrift store. I forget the name of it. So I'm going to be doing that uh, shortly after I clean up my desk here. And yes, that's okay, Charlotte. No problem. I'll respond to you. No problem. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great Saturday. Nice to join you. Thank you again. Bye.